What's up and welcome back to the channel. The name is Ninja Knight. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell up above for future uploads and check out the links posted down below. Thank you. So story has just broke out and it says Lucasfilm drops the Mandalorian star Gina Carano following abhorrent social media post. Now this is the same Lucasfilm that have no problem with Mark Hamill whining and crying and posting all sorts of stuff for 4 years. It is the same company that have absolutely no problem with some of the stuff that Pedro Pascal has posted in the past, with likening two flags, for example, to individuals that are wearing red hats, if you get what I'm saying. And they've had no issue with that whatsoever. There's a litany of other individuals that have been within the company that have been making noise and various different types of noises over the last couple of years that the company haven't bothered themselves with. But because individuals on Twitter deemed it fit, because Gina Carano thought differently to them, they deemed it fit now to get rid of her. These are the same people now that would be all for, you're misogynist and you're this and you're that and you're this ist and that for. These are the same people then that are totally hypocritical, and the company itself now have shown that it's totally hypocritical. You're seeing a lot of emotional reactions to this now from fans, and fans are really fed up with this type of nonsense, and I'm there with them. I'm 100% with them. But I think when you're looking at this story, I don't think it's anything to be surprised about, because it was something that has been brewing for a long time. And even when within another brand that's close to this that I'm going to talk about during this video, it's kind of everywhere. And at the moment, I don't think it's going to be something to be surprised about. And for me, I think that this was coming. But what I will do in future is I will support anything that Gina Carano's in. I'll support her, and I will always be a fan of her for believing in what she believed in, and also for standing up for her beliefs, because I think that that is incredibly important at this moment in time. So the story goes on to say, the Mandalorian star will not be returning to the series after Lucasfilm released a statement saying Carano is not currently employed by the company and there are no plans for her to be in the future. Now that's a big statement, because that's basically telling Jon Favreau, right, whatever sort of plan you had for her, nix it now. It's no problem. We don't want it. We're not interested. So this leaves, I suppose, John and others that are creatively there at Lucasfilm in a bind, because what do they do going forward? If they had big plans for this character going forward, and they know that this is a beloved character, because the 6-inch action figure is impossible to get, the 3 3/4 inch action figure has sold out instantly, and this is a very popular character that people want at 1/6 scale. So when you have a very popular character like that, and now you're after making a decision, I wouldn't be too surprised, and I've said this in the past, I wouldn't be too surprised if you've seen season 3 of The Mandalorian and Jon Favreau had walked away at that point in time, because who could blame him? I mean, this is an absolute clown circus now that he's involved in, and I think it gives credence then to the rumour that there was a certain big filmmaker, Chris Nolan, that was supposedly asked to take the reins a couple of years ago, and seen the mess that was developing and said, no thanks. So for me, I think this is, Star Wars is done. I think the double standard that's happening here with the company is absolutely incredible in terms of the hypocrisy. And I think you're seeing a lot of emotional reactions to this, and I think there's a couple of ways to go about it. So they're talking about, it comes after Gina shared a picture comparing the treatment of people with political differences in modern times to that of that time in Germany. If look, the way I look at that is, if Ben Shapiro, who is very much so a very prominent figure and an individual that has very staunch beliefs in Judaism, if he didn't find offence in those tweets or those pictures, I find no issue with it then at all. Because if he didn't find it, and he would be a credible individual in terms of being a Jewish man and being a follower of the faith, I wouldn't have an issue with it then whatsoever. So you have people now that are trying to be offended on the behalf of Ben Shapiro and other very prominent individuals. This is absolutely nonsensical. And like I said, if you have individuals that have been wearing a red hat over the last couple of years, and Pedro Pascal has posted what he did, then how is that different? How is that any different? Because what he's posted actually then is likening individuals that have worn a red hat to individuals in that time in Germany. That's way worse. And I think anybody with a rational brain would think that and would know that. But these people on Twitter, this Twitterati as they're called, don't think with rational brains. They all think with this hive mind, believe what they're told, and then they keep spewing it. Some of the stuff that we've seen over the last couple of weeks, particularly with the Star Wars Twitter handle, has been absolutely wild. They're supporting Christina Ariel, an individual that if you replace any of the words, particularly the colour word white, with any other colour or any other sort of orientation, or maybe even religious affiliation, you would have an absolute goldmine in terms of people going at it then. SJWs. But because you decided to target one people and one people alone, not a word about it. And the Star Wars official Twitter site actually jumped on board with her and were like, yeah, we support her. I mean, that is insanity. That is pure insanity, and that's what fans have been dealing with over the last couple of years. This pure insanity. It's the same company, by the way, that weeks beforehand wished Kelly Marie Tran a happy birthday, which is fair enough and fair play. But on the same day, the iconic James Earl Jones shared a birthday. Not a word. Not a single word about James Earl Jones. I mean, think about that stew on that. James Earl Jones, the voice of Darth Vader, the voice of Mufasa for The Lion King. Huge. Not even wished a happy birthday. You have John Boyega, who's been shrunken on posters in various places. One place in particular. You have John Boyega talking about the treatment that he got within the company, which is starting to make a little bit of sense now. And as much as I'm not a fan of John Boyega as an actor, certainly as an individual, then if he's talking about experiences that he's had now at Disney, it starts to kind of put two and two together. Now, do I fully believe him? Not really sure. But we'd have to wait and see more of that going forward. So this is a company that are doing wild things at the moment. This is a very bad move. This is an incredibly bad move. So we also see there that the actor has also been dropped as a client by her talent agency UTA. So this is another group now that have essentially bent the knee and have decided to do this. Big thing to know about this though is the likes of Jake Shields and other individuals within the MMA world and in the fighting community have all given support to Gina Carano. These are people that face the darkest of times as a fighter, and they face real hardship and real problems that a lot of these actors wouldn't be able to even comprehend. So I think Gina has a very strong mental mind, and I think that that's fantastic. She knows. I feel that the fans are behind her. Fans like myself and others, a lot of others, by the way, are fully behind her. We will support her no matter what. And I think that this is a moment in time that the company have bitten off more they can chew, in my opinion. Now, what needs to happen from here? I think that people need to do a couple of things in response to this now. What they need to do is they don't have to purchase Disney Plus. I think that that's going to send a big message. I think if people don't promote Disney Plus, I think that that is a good thing. I think people should cancel their HasLab Razor Crest as a result, because that will send a message. And also, in relation to that, there was a Hasbro employee that said that they were thankful and that they would never go forward with an angel dust figure. There was no plans in it, and Hakuna Matata was the words that were used. The tweet has been since deleted. But that goes to show you that the sort of mentality that is within that company as well too. And it's not too long ago that someone decided to put in Cybertronian a certain 4 letters on the side of a character, and they were fired from that company for doing that. Now, again, like I'm saying, I'm not advocating for an individual to lose their job. What I'm saying is, if you're going to say one thing, and then also on their public profile, by the way, they're posting some wild stuff over the last couple of years, and yet they're still in that certain team. So I know I'm not going to get an interview with that person or any of those people, but I don't care, and that's just the way I am. After this then, I said don't purchase Star Wars action figures, collectibles and statues. If you make sure that the money that you're not giving to this company from these certain ventures, they're going to get the message very quick. I also said don't purchase Star Wars video games, books and comics. I don't think anybody's going to be worrying about purchasing books and comics because they're absolute trash at the minute. So I don't think that that's going to be a problem. A lot of them on sale at the moment. Video games, that was a big one, and it's something that we've been talking about for the last couple of years. There's been a fairly decent one in Jedi Fallen Order. There was a little bit of wokeness in that. If they decide to go on with the series, I do expect for it to be pumped up even more. And then when you see then some of the studios, I think Ubisoft possibly has an attachment now to a Star Wars game amongst others, and these are all studios that want to go woke heavily so. Also, I'm saying don't promote Disney Star Wars, and I think that these are a couple of points that are pretty important for a lot of prominent individuals maybe to follow, because I think that this is a moment in time that the gauntlet, like I've said before, this is a phrase that I like to use, the gauntlet has been thrown down. It is up to you now as a fan, and it's up to you collectively now to not promote this and to not promote this stuff, because what's going to happen is, if you do that, as a result then the company will get the message that they have taken the wrong side, that they have done the wrong thing, and that they will rectify it sooner rather than later. This is something that's surrounded, and there's another individual that was fired and then rehired by Disney, and in my opinion shouldn't have been. But look at some of the tweets that James Gunn sent out. Thousands of them, by the way. They're all up online. And he was in his 40s when he's making those tweets, by the way. And I mean, that's a guy that has been rehired by the company and at the meantime had been hired over at Warner Brothers. So this is the sort of stuff that you're seeing, and you're seeing a talent agency dropping her, you're seeing Disney, Lucasfilm trying to drop her and trying to effectively ruin her career. And like I said, if you're going to be playing this game, you have to be consistent with it all, and I think that is what's bugging everybody. If you have decided that Mark Hamill's posts over the last couple of years weren't good enough and you remove them, fair enough, I don't think anybody would be complaining about this. If you decided that Pedro Pascal's posts were inflammatory and they were also abhorrent and you removed them, fair enough, I don't think anybody would have a problem with this. If you thought that what Christina Ariel had been saying over the last couple of weeks, months, years, and removed her from this, I don't think people would be upset about it. But it's a constant double standard, and it's a constant hypocrisy that people are annoyed with and have been fed up with now for a long time, and that they're finally speaking out. And for example, individuals like myself are speaking out about it now. This is it for Disney Star Wars, and I've made a bold prediction. I think that this is it, and I think maybe rightfully so. I think that this should be it. When you see the uptake that they're going to do with the likes of the next phase of Star Wars product, it all looks like junk. I'm not interested in it. So I think that this is a quiet time now to move away from Star Wars, and this is a good time to move away from Star Wars, and I would certainly encourage others to do the same. Now, you're 100% within your rights and within your will. If you want to continue to support it, absolutely, that's up to you, 100%. But I do think then if you're going to support it and then you're going to cry foul when things like this happen, I think maybe then you kind of have to say to yourself, well, the company are being hypocritical, we need to start talking about this, because I'm telling you, it's going to come to the MCU next. It's very new to come into the MCU, and it's going to be very, very quick that this is going to start happening to the MCU, because they've already started to try to do it to one individual in particular in the MCU, believe you me. So this is going to be something that's going to continue on. It's emboldened SJWs, the same SJWs that have tanked DC Comics, that are currently tanking Marvel Comics, that are tanking the entertainment industry, both TV series and movies. It's all crumbling, it's all going away, and it's going to be no surprise then when it does, when you start doing things like this, because people see what's in front of them now more than ever. It's a popular character, it's a character that's beloved, it's an individual that's beloved. Now, what happens from here? Well, what I'd like to see happening from here, I'd love to see Zack Snyder take her on as Catwoman. I think that would be a great suggestion, and I think that is a suggestion that a lot of people could get behind. And I think because Zack Snyder is an individual that had been wronged by a big company beforehand, that he would, I would hope, see the sensibility in being able to do something with regards to this. And he has already talked about making a movie with Ben Affleck and Catwoman. Gina Carano to me would be a perfect Catwoman. So what I'm going to say is maybe even a hashtag Gina Carano Catwoman. Simple as that. And show the support for her. There's support up there now with hashtags. We love Gina Carano. We love Cara Dune. It's essentially a thing that's been in The Mandalorian for the last 2 seasons, that people absolutely love this character. Very excited to see her when she comes up, and a belovable individual and a lovable individual, I would say. So looking forward to seeing what she does next. This individual has been through MMA fights, career, has had ups and downs. I believe that she's going to be strong mentally with this one, and I think a lot of people are behind her 110%. And the message needs to be clear, and it needs to be consistent. It needs to be people moving forward and saying to the company, no, we're not having this. Now, you will get a lot of other individuals that'll say, well, what are you going to do? Just accept it. It's the company are going to do what they're going to do. They won't do it for long if people are upset about it and don't want it to happen. Look at the course reverse and course correction that they've taken now by giving Zack Snyder what the fans wanted, what people were actually going to pay for. Because it's easy for an individual like this and think nothing's going to happen in response. It's easy to think that the blue-haired individuals that are on Twitter are the ones that are going to be purchasing all your materials. How wrong you are. You've seen for the last trilogy, the sequel trilogy, the decline in numbers between each movie, and by the time it got from The Force Awakens to The Rise of Skywalker, half of your audience have walked away. How many of the audience do you think you won back with The Mandalorian? How many of the audience do you think stay on to watch Gina Carano? It's very high, believe you me. So I think with this, and you're saying big YouTubers, by the way, that have publicly put out that they've cancelled their Disney Plus, This is just the beginning. They have opened up a can of worms here. They have opened up Pandora's box. And what I'm going to say is, I sincerely hope other companies and other directors and other prominent roles are given to this woman, because this woman is an inspiration. She is a very strong character, and I think for both men and women, she's someone to look up to as a role model. And I have to say, she's been wonderful to watch. She has been wonderful to read her tweets, and she has been a beacon of light and hope. And when you can have an individual like Carl Weathers, for example, I love Carl Weathers, fantastic as Apollo Creed. I mean, he was iconic. And then he's Grief Karga in this series. When you have Grief Karga played by Carl Weathers, the wonderful Carl Weathers, has routinely come out and talked about Gina positively, has routinely supported her. I sincerely hope that he is going to do the same and continue to do the same, because he knows what's right and he knows what's wrong at this point in his career. And I certainly hope that a time is going to come now where these people are not going to look around and save their own bacon. I hope that people do stand with her, and I hope people do stand up. And I think maybe you might see a lot of people that are walking away from Disney over this. If they're allowing individuals that work for them, the likes of Hal Hickel, for example, that's another name that's come up, to post stuff, and I will say, in my opinion, some abhorrent stuff, if you want to use that word. He's well in his right to post that stuff. But here's the thing. You can't then okay what he's doing and then not okay what Gina's doing. You can't okay what Pedro did and not okay what Gina did. You can't okay what Mark Hamill did and not okay what Gina did. And that's only a couple of instances of what I'm talking about in a multitude of things that have happened. This is the same company that has insulted fans over the last couple of years. And I think for me, even once I'm insulted, I think that's it. I'm done. It doesn't take me to keep coming back and back. And it's something that I have been seeing. It's individuals returning to the well yet again. I was done. Once I seen The Last Jedi, that was it. And I didn't purchase anything from The Rise of Skywalker. I didn't go to see The Rise of Skywalker. I certainly didn't go to see Solo. And just because The Mandalorian came up, and it's been suggested now by a lot of people, they're certainly sailing certain seas for The Mandalorian. That's what happened as a result. I haven't purchased anything now from The Mandalorian, and won't do, because I specifically won't purchase anything to do with Din Djarin. I can tell you that. And that's why I won't purchase the HasLab Razor Crest. So that's where I'm going to leave the video on this. I think it's an interesting topic because, again, like I said, there's a lot of people that are out there now at the moment and they're feeling emotional about this, and rightly so. It is a difficult topic to talk about without getting emotional, and I think it's something that, breaking it down when you look at the hypocrisy from one side to the other, I think it's totally unfair when you're looking at that. And I think it's a very rational thing to think of why people should support Gina Carano, and why people should critically look at what's just happened and then see the double standard and hypocrisy that has happened now in the past with relation to this. The company, I think, were in a lot of people's good graces by the fact that they were keeping her on and that they were working with her, and then now they've done this, and I think any of that good grace, any of that goodwill should be evaporated by now. I don't think that you need to be told again or something for something else to happen again for people to finally get the note and to realise that this company is essentially telling you that they do not want you. It's something that Jason Momoa did not too long ago. We don't want you. That's fine. That's no problem at all. Because we'll walk away and we'll take the money with us and we'll go somewhere else. That's just going to be the way it is. And I'm going to leave the video there. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell up above for future uploads. Check out the links posted down below, and I'll talk to you later. Good luck.